So, Michael Oher is a name I'm sure most of you have heard at least once, especially since you clicked on this video. But I'd make a big bet that most of you really only know about him because of the hit movie, The Blind Side, which goes over Michael Oher's life and how the wonderful Tuohy family saved him and showed him how to become an NFL caliber lineman. Well, not only is all that apparently a complete lie, but now it also appears that the Tuohy family, who took in Michael Oher, scammed Oher into signing over his consent to use his name and his story to make themselves a shitload of money. What's going on, big dogs? SG Leo here. And today we are going to be breaking down the Michael Oher versus Tuohy family lawsuit and allegations. So sit back, relax, and let's dig into this. Alright everyone, so at this point I'm sure most of you have either seen or at the very least heard of the movie The Blind Side. It's a movie about a young black man who is down on his luck, he's lonely, doesn't talk to anyone, doesn't have any friends, family's all on drugs, and he's basically homeless. But thankfully, the Tuohy family reach out to this struggling young man and show him how to play football. And he'd learn to love the sport and take out his frustration in the sport in a good and healthy manner. In fact, he'd get so good, he'd go on to become a starting NFL lineman and even win a Super Bowl in 2013. That is what the story says. But as it turns out, that is all a huge fucking lie. So this has been known to those who watch the NFL and actually know who Michael Oher is and know that he's a real person and in fact, actually a really good lineman as well. He actually hates the movie because he said it makes him look like a pushover, a weak person who was an absolute nobody and couldn't do anything until the Tuohy family came into his life, which isn't true. Really, the only thing that was true about The Blind Side is that, yeah, he was basically homeless growing up and he was around drugs and poverty and stuff. Before he even knew who the Tuohys were, he'd already taken a liking to not only football but basketball as well, and was already really good at both sports. So even without the help of a rich, successful family, he'd probably had gotten some type of football or basketball scholarship somewhere. You know, maybe it wasn't a full ride, but he was going to get something for sure. He was a phenomenal athlete from all records. To his credit, Michael Oher actually never really said anything publicly about the movie because he was happy it was making his adoptive family, these people who supposedly love him so much, he was making them money and making them all happy. And he was totally fine with that, and his career was going great. Well, unfortunately, the Tuohys have appeared to pull the scam of the century if everything that is alleged is actually true. So Michael Oher apparently found out this last February of 2023, that he was never actually adopted by the Tuohy family, and that they have apparently been lying to him about the paperwork that they had him sign. Really, all he did was apparently sign over his consent for the Tuohy family to use his life story and his name to make them a shit ton of money. Which, if all that is true, again, con of the year. Con of the year if they're able to pull that off. So the Tuohys allegedly have made millions of dollars off Michael's name and story, and he has said that he has never even seen a penny of the money that they have made off of him or the movie or any of that stuff, but that they did use the money to make their lives better and pay for their biological children to go to nice schools and have, you know, a very above average lifestyle. So this all looks really, really bad if it's true. This easily makes the Tuohys some of the shittiest people ever. Like, yeah, I think it's very nice that they took a kid off the street and fed him and clothed them and everything, but if they took him in because they thought that they could end up making a lot of money off of him, then is it still a good thing? You know, it's kind of that weird back and forth. Like, they did a good thing, but they only did a good thing because it's bad. Does that still make it good? But luckily, at the time I was writing this script, the Tuohy family actually has finally given some kind of pushback to these allegations, and they kind of blow this entire operation wide open. Like, now I'm not sure what's going to happen. So at first, like stated, it looked really bad for the Tuohys. But now they're saying, well, their attorneys are saying that Michael has gotten his money and that apparently he has been going around to different lawyers and attorneys and things like that and just trying to find somebody who will help him push some false narrative story onto the Tuohys because he's trying to get $15 million off of them. So apparently the Tuohys, what they have stated is that they are very hurt and that they still love him and all that basic stuff. But basically, they're saying he is trying to scam them. So he's saying that they did all this terrible stuff and that the only reason they had him stay with them or be part of the family at all was because they figured they could make some money off of him in the long run, which, again, is crazy if true. But now they're also saying that Michael is just trying to get money off of them because the Tuohy family is wealthy. So this whole thing is kind of nuts, and I'm really excited to see where this goes. This is a crazy story, and a lot of people were already alleging that the Tuohys were only taking in Michael Oher because they figured he would have a prominent career in sports. Now, my counter-argument to that, and this is not a case for the Tuohys, all right? Right now, there's not enough evidence either way, whether it's for Michael Oher or against him, or for the Tuohys or against them. There's not enough evidence out right now that is like, yep, that person's in the wrong. I don't know the entire story. Nobody does. Nobody knows the entire story except for the two parties that are suing each other. So I'm not trying to make a case for either of them. I'm just trying to give my opinion and maybe spark some light for others who are watching this. So the way I look at this entire situation is, again, if the Tuohys actually did that, I feel like it's going to be really hard to prove that, because how can you just look at somebody and go, yep, that person's going to be successful. That person's going to make us money, and, you know, we're going to profit off of that in some way, shape, or form. Because if they had gotten him to sign over his consent to use his name, to use his image, to use his story, how did they know that it was going to be successful? They didn't. They never said anything against the adoption allegation part, which makes me think that they did only take him in to profit off of him in the future. But that is such a big risk if you think about it, because, you know, one injury in any sport and you can be done. Especially being a lineman, injuries add up quick, and if you lose a step, you become a really poor lineman. And so who knows? Who knows? He could have ended up being a terrible lineman. Maybe the Tuohys did take this gamble and said, you know what, we're gonna push him a little bit harder. We're gonna make this investment in this guy, and maybe it'll then turn into us being able to sell his life story. If that's true, then that's crazy, and that's one heck of a plot. That is a lot of determination and dedication to make a bunch of money. Now, if the Tuohy's allegations are true, which again, I am leaning, I'm going to be a little bit more honest, I am leaning more towards Michael Oher's side of the story, just because I think it'd be a cool plot twist, to be completely honest. If they're saying that he's been going around and trying to get all these other lawyers to do dirty work and try and dig up dirt on the Tuohys, and he's doing this all because he wants them to give him $15 million for whatever reason, that would also be insane, and that would also be crazy, and I think that would also add just a weird twist to this entire story, and it would make this entire thing really, really interesting. I am excited to see where this goes. I have no idea where it's going to go. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on it, and I will make update videos on this, I am sure, because this is super crazy. That it would just be really funny to see that movie's a big lie. Everybody's now finding out that this guy actually was doing well before the Tuohy stepped in. It was just that, you know, he was kind of homeless, which sucked, but he was already on a pretty decent path in life. You know, he had made good decisions and everything and stuck to sports. But anyways, I'm rambling on much too long for this video. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think of this whole situation down below. Whose side are you on? Which way are you leaning on this? Again, I feel like it's too early for anyone to really just pick a side. I mean, you can if you want, but right now there's really no evidence either way. They're both just accusing each other of things. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all comes to light, and, you know, if there's documents and stories and other things like that. So again, I'll be keeping a close eye on this one. Don't forget to like the video if you did enjoy. Comment down below what topics you'd like to see me cover next. Don't forget to follow me on all my socials, which will be linked down below in the description. And until next time, guys, Godspeed.
I lost my best friend to 23. She left her body in Harvard above me.